Was it, you weren't doing comedy when you went to Germany? No.
No. I think I started comedy a few months after that, like maybe 4 months after that, if I'm not wrong.
And of these places that you've gone to, I suppose Australia was like the most like long, proper comedy campaign wala trip.
Yeah, yeah. And sorry, of course, Edinburgh. I missed out. Edinburgh I've been to.
You did Edinburgh the whole month?
No, I went there for 2 weeks and I did I think I did comedy I was at the festival for like a week and then a week we did a road trip, the North Coast 500. But in the week, 7 दिन में मैं कुछ किया रहेगा 18 spot वहाँ पे. Because it's just, dude, the thing, and again that thing of Indian comedians, right? पहले तो you go there and tell them कि मेरा YouTube पे 1 million views आया, they look at you like you're a god, dude. कि तेरा 1 million bro, मेरा 300 पे अटका हुआ है. And then straight up, and just because I went there, did well. So there was one, like they have these the showcase shows, right, where every time it's a new comic coming up and flying at the door after they're done. So I got a spot, one recurring spot every day at that place, and it was really nice to do it, but also kind of bumming because people would come to me after the show and say, "Hey, where's your show? We want to come and watch your show." And I'm like, "मेरा नहीं है show. आएगा शायद 2-3 साल में."
YouTube पे देख सकते हो तुम.
But that was great. The other great open mic experience I had was at Top Secret Comedy Club. Have you ever been London?
No, dude. And in London, when I went, I was there for my brother's graduation. So I had about 3 nights free. And my parents think I'm a 12-year-old dulhan or some shit. So they were like, you can't go alone. What will happen if you go alone and all that? So, but that time, I remember I emailed everybody that I could. I emailed Charlotte from Comedy Store.
मेरे को भी Comedy Store नहीं दिया. I have a photo of me standing sadly outside Comedy Store.
And then finally I got one show in one open mic in some other corner of London. And that was the...
Was it Monkey Business?
Yes.
With that crazy guy who hosts the show.
Yeah, and that other guy... Head. Yes! Yes! And
everyone, that's a legendary open mic. That is a rite of passage open mic for everyone who goes to London.
Oh ho, मजा आ गया वो, काफी सही था वो. And I remember I did some topical shit and all of that, and then I did another open mic at this one room. I can't remember the name, but that room I went twice. What a gorgeous, like उधर का टट्टी room कितना gorgeous है यार. Like it's so good to perform for a crowd where they've had comedy their whole lives. So in that sense, Australia must have been mind blowing, right?
Oh yeah, it was crazy because again, Australia, you're going there, you're doing the show every night. I mean, for the first 2 weeks, it was great because there you're just taking it in. You're like, wow, we're performing every night. It's a new audience coming in. We're getting to do spots here and there. You're getting to watch so much.
Yeah.
But after 2 weeks, it started to get we were all very jaded. Like I know that also we got one fuck all review for the show because of some weird circumstances that just on the particular night that the reviewer came, there was some controversial shit said on stage, and because of that and the reviewer having a reputation for being slightly racist towards the Asian shows, we got fucked, and then the numbers tailed off after that. So that was a little double whammy after that. So I think after a point, then I reached a point where I bought a Nintendo Switch and I was sitting and playing video games in the room. And Karunesh जाके gambling कर रहा है रात भर casino में. So you do get jaded after a while. Particularly when it's a festival produced show and there's a fixed fee, because then you're like कि हाँ ठीक है मैं कुछ भी कर लूँ मुझे मेरा पैसा तो मिल रहा है. As opposed to Edinburgh, where it's that daily hustle of fuck कुछ करने का है नहीं तो crowd नहीं आएगा. I think that probably would be tiring right at the end, but you probably won't get jaded in the middle because you're just so in that zone ki hustle, gotta make it happen.
Yeah. And it must be nicer for you in the sense that since most of your material is in English, it's an easier transition, or is it? I don't know.
For me, I have found it easier. I think the only thing that I had to do was speak slowly, because even though I would not say I have a thick Indian accent, but for them, hey. And I think that's the feedback that I've given most people when they go abroad, is just speak a little slower than you normally do. But otherwise, I think I have that, you know, the one bit which obviously that I can never release on Indian YouTube, which is the all religions wala bit.
Yeah.
Which works great abroad because that's like a solid 20 minutes that I have.
Yeah.
So that's always my go-to whenever I go abroad. So I've always had like a 20-minute set ready to go wherever I go.
Did you end up writing material there as well? Like
In Melbourne? Oh yeah, 100%. I wrote a good like 5-7 minutes new which went into that show. I was headlining at a 18-minute set. So 5 was stuff that I wrote while I was there, and then we would go to open mics here and there, try to workshop stuff. But it's fun, it's enjoyable. Like that first week is also exciting because then you're seeing, "Arey, naya culture, naya observation, chalo likhte." It's just that.
I think one of the greatest joys is when you come across an observation about a place that comics who have been there for years have not managed to crack.
Yeah. Like I'll tell you, my favorite joke was literally, and this is something that happened, me and Sam were walking on the street late at night, and we saw this homeless guy sleeping on the road. And just as we were approaching, like he just sat up, right? Bolt upright, like the Undertaker, looked around and just started running. You know, as far as the eye can see, just running. And I was like, and again, that was just the first thought joke that came to me, but I used to use it as my opener.
Yeah.
Which is like, the only thing that I can think of to rationalize this is the guy woke up and he realized, fuck, I'm not homeless, and he ran home. Like, that's the only thing that I could think of.
That's a great observation, dude. That's hilarious. When I was in Vancouver, they had a World War I memorial time cartoon. Okay, and I was on stage, and I made like some joke about how a lot of the buildings in Vancouver, like a lot of the government buildings, look like Nazis built them. Like Canada was just basically like, just in case, you know, let's just make these buildings like that. And they took very great offense to that because I realized, oh man, a lot of these people probably had family that fought in those wars.
Right.
And I had to, in a split second, save the situation. And I said, listen, I have no cultural context about your country, so don't get mad.
Yeah.
And the buses, for that week in Canada, in Vancouver, all the buses have the phrase, lest we forget. Right, like lest we forget, let us remember the veterans or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm so confused about your country. When the bus said number 343, lest we forget, I thought it's just telling me.
Just in case we forget to write
Just in case. Okay, lest you forget where you have to. Yeah. So, ऐसे बच गए, and all the comics just lost their shit. They were like, oh fuck. Like they did a Vancouver version of bye.
Yeah.
Great victories.